Master Chief is dead. Master Chief, R.I.P. R.I.P. to the Master Chief. Halo, episode 9. We have arrived, gentlemen. We made it. We've gotten through a season of Halo in name only.
It was Cortana all along.
My gosh, it showed.
It was Agnes all along.
It was Cortana all along.
It was Doctor all along.
It was Doctor. Now there's Doctors. They're out there. Ryan swung by at one point. He says, "You guys survived the Halo TV series longer than Master Chief." If it isn't an Xbox achievement, I don't know what is. You know what, bro? You're absolutely right. Yeah, folks. As shocking as the first episode was not Halo, the finale was even more shocking to Halo fans. It's funny how basically there was almost, I don't know about you guys, but it felt like there was not a lot of Halo chatter. And then as immediately as the finale ended, it just blew up into this big thing. Like suddenly everyone's acting like they've all watched it all along and they've been talking about it this whole time, whatever. And I'm like, you guys haven't been watching this, but none of you people are talking about this stuff. We've been talking about this. You guys are crazy. So
The weird thing was, it was somehow like the worst and best episode of the series.
I think it was all shit. I think the whole thing was shit. From start to finish, it was shit. You can shine that piece of shit up all bright and shiny, put a bow on it. It's still shit.
Well,
yeah,
look,
there's
find the positive stuff. I mean, like
there's a whole bunch of
couple
beeping.
seconds of Halo in this episode.
Hope you got your sensor beep ready, Pops.
I don't have it. I can't.
Beep,
no
beep,
way.
beep,
I'm
beep,
too
beep,
old.
beep.
Yeah, that's all we'd hear. There just wouldn't be anything else. It'd just be Loki beep 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 because it's freaking ridiculous. It was so bad. Loki had to rant on his own show. Like he's like, I can't wait. I gotta get this out of my system. I therapeutically had to deal with it. I
apologize. I apologize. I was like,
Pops,
I'm sorry.
I felt your pain.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I felt like, I have to deal with a brother who's trying to get through it. I know I'm trying to let this stupid commercial play for my stupid Paramount. I hate Paramount. It's just freaking nuts. They give it to me free. They give it to me for free or not. I don't freaking care. It's just like I've been rewatching. Well, we'll get to this. So I rewatched the Star Wars movies because I had to see it in theaters like someone else I know, and so I was watching them again side by side. So I was playing the original cut and the director's cut because I was on VacTube like I don't know like a while ago. And they had asked if I had seen the director's cut, and I kind of paused. And what occurred to me was, I don't own the original cut. Like I haven't had it in so long. I probably had it on VHS, and all I had pictured in my mind was the picture of the box, but I couldn't remember if it said director's cut or something else. I just couldn't remember. So I've been watching them side by side, and I'm just appreciating that. And then of course, when you see this 4K version, everything changes.
Yeah.
So when I was going back and forth, I can't tell you how many times this stupid app would kick me out of one of them. I would go back and it wouldn't be there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is freaking driving me completely nuts. Because it was really fun to see, at this point in the movie, we're plus 2 minutes and it's 2 minutes of this. And it was like really easy to see side by side, basically. So Ryan is chiming in that Halo Season 2, Cortana humanizes the Flood, defeats the Covenant, and makes peace in the Middle East. The only thing I could say is Ironcaster could be a little bit accurate that the last episode wouldn't stink so bad if they had treated the entire series as a prequel to the game. If they were trying to say, this is how we're going to set it up. The problem is they just couldn't help themselves. They had to go too far. So it's not Master Chief with Cortana. It's just Cortana wearing Master Chief. It's freaking. Let's get through this freaking episode because it's rough. It's rough, and I am not a fan. Like this is. I'm the normie voice in all of this. I'm like the over analytical film critic who has hated nearly every minute of this film because it makes no flipping sense.
Well, as soon as they said, Pops, we're not going to follow anything we're not going to follow the games at all. We're not going to follow the books. We're not going to follow the movies. Yeah. We're just going to make our own shit up as we go along with the characters that are in this universe. That's enough to tell everybody they don't give a shit about the story that's been told. They don't give a shit about the characters. They just want to do their own thing and play in their own playground. That's not good, and we're not going to put up with it, and we're not going to deal with this shit.
They're just a bunch of arrogant narcissists that want to tell their own stories and they're just trying to steal and cannibalize franchises along the way. And the
We
problem
wanted to
is
skin it and wear it like a coat. They tell
Yeah.
their own story.
Yep, that's exactly how it is. So this is the recap of nonsense. So all that really mattered, just so you know, was that Doctor is an evil monster. Master Chief has not existed in this series. He was only in maybe 20 minutes of the first episode in 20 minutes. It wasn't, that fight scene wasn't 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. This is the added character. What nickname do we have for her? She's Hot Pocket, right?
Hot
And
Pocket.
the first
Seaweed Hot
she wore
Pocket.
Seaweed Hot Pocket. She's basically a human that for some reason the Covenant has had and is using as a spy, even though in this episode they're going to plot to just sacrifice her. But she somehow seduced John because Master Chief's dad, he never really existed in this episode. They claim it all happened in season finale, but he only existed in that one fight scene, even in name only. And basically he slept with the spy, and his heart and his feelings came out because he removed his butt plug. And had feelings, and he had feelings for her, and she turned out to be evil monster and doing what she needed to do. And we get to this final episode because the previous few episodes, not the last episode, but episode 7 was the wrap up to Miss Mullet and not Dave Chappelle's story, because that was all manufactured characters and nonsense, adding some POCs to the story for no freaking reason. Nobody cares.
Yeah. My theory is that was the actual show that these writers wanted to do, and that they just had to kind of work it into a licensed property that they could get their hands on.
I think they started with a beginning, they started with an end, and they only had 3 or 4 episodes. And they said, well, we're going to have to add some filler. And they created some POC characters and just fluffed it out. And basically, she was
Paramount,
just a bunch of freaking MacGuffins around.
Paramount doesn't do that, Pops. Paramount and CBS, they cut out the fluff. They cut out the fluff and the filler because that's why you have 10 episodes. This came from their head of show and director and all this shit that you don't do that anymore. You have 10 or 12 episodes because you already cut out the filler. So how could there be filler if they already cut out the filler? I don't understand this.
Well, then season 2 will be about Miss Mullet and Dave Chappelle. We'll find out what happens next because they're more interesting than, not Dave Chappelle was more interesting. So this is just a nonsensical aftermath of her betraying everyone, turning the gun on John. Oh, sorry, turning the gun on the MPs who've now realized that they're the bad. She's the bad person. And you know what? I have to be honest, guys. I have so little interest in this story. Like, I just don't care. Like, this scene is Halsey lied to us, and it's like John and Strawberry Spartan basically just trying to tell Lil MCD. I don't even know if we gave the lady one. What's the other lady's name? A nickname or not? Because she hasn't even mattered in this whole freaking show. This one, right?
The albino.
Is she? I don't know. I don't know what she is. She's irrelevant. And then she gets shot in the shoulder later. That's the only one. So anyway, so this is a whole lot of literally, guys, 5 minutes. We're like just go. The clock just keeps running with nothing actually happening. They're just talking about things happening before Black Key shows up and spills his guts about how he knew all along and he's just an evil monster too, even though he's the only freaking interesting character because he actually has a character. Meanwhile, by the way, while they were too busy talking and they were carrying on, not getting anything done, Doctor's going to get away. Doctor's on this ship. She's got stuff. She's getting away. She's going to try to figure out how to get away. That's what's happening here. So this is Creeper. For those of you who are coming along, Creeper changed his accents. He's at least had 2. I think there's a 3rd in this episode, by the way. The British/Australian kind of gets a little muddled, in my opinion, in this episode. But
spoiler alert: there will not be a 4th.
There will not be another. Yeah, that's funny. That's so great. I actually laughed out loud at the one part. I have to be completely honest. So basically, there's just a whole lot of talking about they're going to fly. And Strawberry Spartan says, I'll go get Doctor. And I was cheering for I actually have become a fan of Strawberry Spartan. I want to see more Strawberry Spartan because she's almost like the naive character. Yes, she's a naive character just trying to do good in the world, man. She's just trying to do girl. She's like hippy dippy girl. She's just like the hippy dippy soldier, man. I'm just gonna do good in the world, man. We're just gonna save the world, man. We're gonna do it.
I'm gonna rip your arms off and shove them in your vulva, doctor. God, I really thought she was gonna like rip her apart, and then I was like, stupid, Strawberry, no, don't be stupid. And she was stupid.
Creeper's going for it. He's got his wrench. He's going to try to attack Strawberry Spartan. I have to pause it because of freaking copyright flags. And what happens? She's gone too far. Oh, he went too far. Bye, Creeper.
He's just sleeping.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We will come back to this because it does get funny. I'm sorry to have to laugh out loud, but I actually did. So the ship's all topsy-turvy. They're damaging the ship in this fight. She falls to the ground. Literally, that's the extent of action at this point. We're 10 minutes into a finale, and it's just like the ship's topsy-turvy, be it Doctor ship, but she's killed Creeper. And this is how outside what it looks like.
At least with Star Trek,
the ship's going to go down.
At least with Star Trek, when they had everyone just kind of shimmy for the impact, like it seemed more dignified.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Whereas with this, it's like she suddenly just like has a 90-degree lurch to the side, and it's just, what's this trying to convey? That the ship's just suddenly going straight down?
Well, it's all side to side for a minute, and then this is my favorite part. Kaplunk. It's so great. I laughed out loud. Did you guys catch that when it happened?
Yep.
I actually just, I have to be honest, I just laughed. I just couldn't believe it. She's running. It's all serious, whatever. And I thought to myself, is his body still on the console? Sure enough, it sure is.
Not for long.
And then, let's tilt to the right. Let's tilt to the left. Back to the right. And then go for kaplunk. Creeper story is complete.
It's like they just pushed the eject button.
The best part was I wish they would just say the actor actually did that part. That would actually make it even better for me, but I know they didn't do it that way. They think the ship's going down with Strawberry Spartan, and there's Black Keys and authoritarian Margaret looking on, going screaming out for Kai because Kai is Strawberry Spartan. It all blows up, but she made it. How? We don't know.
She's a Spartan. Of course she made it.
I actually didn't think so. I actually thought I thought I was going to lose Strawberry Spartan for a minute.
Oh, no. This was always going to happen. You see this, and then you see what happens to Chief, and you're like, yeah, okay.
Listen, I can have hope, but my hope was squashed very quickly. This is the playback for John to find out that his now girlfriend, Hot Pocket, who's the Covenant spy, betrayed him, betrayed everybody, took off with all the artifacts, and everyone's on the lam. And Cortana comes clean. She's in cahoots, and then she talks about how she feels about everything, and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. A lot of talking. Let's see. We are at the 12-minute 38 mark, and let's see. Talk, and let's talk before you even get to something else. So they waste 2 more minutes of absolutely nothing. Then you get to the seriousness of what they're trying to say is, I have to become Master Chief again because I haven't been Master Chief. We know, John. We know you're not freaking.
We need the Master Chief. We need the Master Chief now.
Put him back in the game. Put him back on the show. We need the Master Chief. Send in the Master Chief. And it's like Black Keys. It's like, yo, man, you gotta be Master Chief, man. You gotta do it, man. I've done bad things. It's like, oh yeah, we're not gonna resolve it. We're just gonna talk, and then we're gonna talk, and we're just gonna go. So their plan is the 4 of them are just gonna fly to nowhere, and to
you can't send in an army. You have to send in 4 rogue troops.
Yes, and I'm in perfect condition to lead everyone. And then meanwhile, Autumn Sunrise and Black Keys are fighting amongst themselves because she realizes her dad is almost as much of a scumbag as her mother.
You know, the unfortunate thing is the daughter here, it's like she's just been wasted this entire show.
No, yep. I could not believe how bad this looked.
Oh,
Oh yeah, this is
This is the
old.
first shot of the planet, and I stopped.
PS3 graphics.
Yep.
I stopped. I hit pause and just hit back, and I said, "Well, I got to take a break. I have to take a break." I couldn't. I actually thought about what I could compare this to, and I thought all I would be doing would be insulting old 70s through 90s shows if I try to make comparisons. I don't think that's fair. This is just so bad.
Well, you know that this is where they shot the sword scene at the beginning of Princess Bride, where they have the sword fight between the Dread Pirate Roberts and Indigo. This is where they shot that. So they just rebuilt the set.
This looks as bad as like Photoshop that I do, because I'm a total boomer. I don't know what I'm doing. This looks like the bad type of Photoshop that I do. Like, this is so bad. It's distracting. I couldn't handle any, like, some of the action sequences and stuff were tolerable when they were close up, but anytime they showed things from the side or they pulled back like this, I was immediately out again.
See, I thought the armor on the elites down there looked just awful. Like, rubber. They look so obviously.
Yeah, they're just rubber suits.
Like, in unfinished renders.
So here's the plot twist, right? Is the decent looking prophet, by the way, the Dark Crystal meets Snoke creature.
No, he looks like the old man of the Poltergeist movies.
Oh yeah, a little bit of dab of all three. And big twist, they have no desire to tolerate her anymore. They're actually going to do what they probably should have done all along. So meanwhile, back to the ship. They're discussing Carantana with him, and what's weird is we can't just get to the story. We can't just get to the action with these people. They literally have to talk about it, and then she has to help fly the ship. He can't actually fly the ship through this field. She has to help. Like, go here, 2 degrees, whatever. The ship's going to crash. The ship's going to break up. There's all this intense stuff. No one wears helmets. So if you're Halo fans, you think there's going to be helmets involved? Nope. That's still not a part of things yet. So you're not even going to get that. They don't think they're even going to make it. And this sequence just keeps going on and on and on.
When they open the back of the drop ship, here in just a minute, they're not wearing any helmets.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah, when they drop go ahead. I'm just saying when they go to drop.
Yeah, I'll have to make sure I stop at the right spots. We can actually look at it, because I did not catch that. That's a crazy cluster.
They're in like mid upper orbit, and they don't have their helmets on when they open the Pelican.
All right. So Doctor's having a nosebleed. She's going to get caught, and we come to find out she's got to be held accountable. Blah blah blah. Nosebleeds. Right. That's what we have here. Your punishment. This is actually the real Doctor at this point, right? Thank you.
Yeah, she got away and they captured her.
Yeah. Let's see. Then we cut back. By the way, there's like off-screen prophet to prophet dialoguing where the prophets say they're going to kill Seaweed Girl.
Oh, meanwhile, he's using the little hologram Dorito chip.
Yeah, so he can spy. Here's her looking at her seaweed wrap. She looked so much more mannish in this scene than even her other scenes. Go ahead.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I thought this scene, I'm like, I don't know what we did to her hair and her makeup, but she looks even more mannish than she normally. Because normally they tried to make, she seemed very mannish, and then it always seemed like they tried to give her the right kind of makeup to give her like delicate features and highlight more of like a little girl look about her. That's why I said I was always so creeped out by the sex scene, because I'm like she just seemed like a 16-year-old to me. She never seemed like an adult. And then I saw this scene, I'm like, wow. Is this a stunt double film? It was weird. This I don't know. Like I said, nothing is consistent in this show. It just drives me out of my freaking mind. We're coming up on the scene that Loki's talking about, so I don't want to flub this. Look at how bad this is. Look at the CGI.
That looks like shit.
Looks
like shit.
This is rendering that Pops would do. This is Pops rendering right there. That's how bad my freaking Photoshop skills are. Like gosh, it's embarrassing.
And it's so bad considering when at the start of the show, I was praising like how good the aliens looked.
Yeah, the aliens didn't start off bad. So this is the scene, and we got to make sure we hit this right. Oh, right. Look at that.
Yeah, They're in upper to mid orbit, and they've got the Pelican open, and they're not wearing helmets. Tell me
And
how
it's
that
just open.
effing
The
makes
whole
sense.
thing is open. Look at how high up they are.
Yeah, no, doesn't work that way.
They're still
It's
humans.
time to,
This
it's
is
time to
this is
deploy
Black Widow
the butt
bad.
plug squad.
It doesn't matter how much air they're pumping through the ship. None of that
doesn't
would matter.
Nope. This is Black Widow bad. This is my complaint with Black Widow. It's like I can't even tolerate people who could give Black Widow 2 minutes if you saw the end, because the end makes there's just like they're humans. They're falling off buildings and not breaking limbs. They're jumping off debris in the gravity defying ship that's falling to the earth. This is like we're hovering over a planet with the drop. What would we call this? The drop area down.
The door.
Boarding ramp.
Yeah, the boarding
Boarding
ramp's
ramp.
down.
You know, one of the issues that we kind of skipped over was when they were flying through the like between space. Like, oh, we've lost artificial gravity, and they're still
they're walking around.
Yeah,
they were walking around. She's walking. Let's see if I can hit it here and see if I can pull up just a frame of reference for folks. Let's see.
right about here.
There's a little bit back. In they just chat. This is Carantana giving them instructions. 2 degrees left, maintain the line, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. All right, let me see if I can get it to just play from the next shot. Then let's see if we can get to the scene you're saying, because I think this is their attempt. By the way, I did go back and again, Loki, you're both to credit and to blame. I watched some OG Trek this last week, by the way.
It's great. It's great.
Watched 2 episodes.
I'm just finishing up the first season of TNG again. So yeah,
spaghettified.
By the way, I did like the use of the word spaghettified. I don't even know how I've not been using a word called spaghettified. That'd be the only shirt that I want to make out of the series so far, spaghettified. In addition to all my character shirts. That's it. Look, here's what we should do. We have to lose our action figure design ideas. Maybe we should just make shirts with their images and just says Miss Mullet, not Jake Pal.
It'll just be like an acronym.
Brandon, the anime guy. What on earth you doing up in here, bro? F Paramount for making this abomination, bro.
Yeah.
You know what, Brandon? You give me a thumbs up or you want to come in here and rant. It's the fun. We understand. We feel your pain, bro. Carantana, that's fine. Well, you see, you've got some cashing up to do, bro. We have nicknames for all. I don't even know that I can tell you what some of their real names are. I get confused.
It just became almost an objective just to like try to come up with the best nickname, and then they come along and name a character Weasel.
Yeah, Weasel was a great name. Where'd that come from? And I'm like, little MCD comes up with spaghettified out of nowhere. I'm like, whoa, that's
Weasel the Jews.
Yeah.
Ow!
So yeah, maybe we just need to have characters. We'd get sued for copyright. We couldn't sell them. That was probably what would happen. We have some sort of image license or what. This is it. This is the we're gonna lose gravity, and she just keeps running.
Yeah, gravity's gone.
There's a fire first, and then there's the gravity goes, but she just continues to run. She doesn't start floating.
Do you know what a fire's like in 0G? A fire doesn't stay to what it is.
It's not going to keep
it
burning.
It just floats through the air. No, it will. It will, and it'll burn through the air. It will actually burn through the air and
oxygen,
float,
right?
and it will ignite on the oxygen and float on the air because that's what's feeding it, because it's in 0G.
Yeah, I don't know who people have talked about. I know there's people that have said, I tried to watch one video talked about there was some sort of praise they were trying to give the show, and it was just so bad that I couldn't get my head around it. So
right, the one thing I think I did like, well, actually we're getting to like one of the like 2 things I actually liked in the episode.
This is the
I just kind of like the whole like deal with the squad here. It was like look, the show is so bad. It's like when it's just okay with these guys.
Their interaction, is that what you mean?
Yeah. These guys interacting with one another. It felt like such a relief.
I felt like, again, this is like the prequel to what Loki has described Halo to be. Like, John becoming Master Chief and caring about his team, he would just do anything and everything for the four of them. This scene at least lets me know this could be a team. That's how I feel. So I will agree with you if that's what we'll say as a praise. That's about the extent I can go. I mean, I don't think they let him. There's no decent dialogue. The dialogue is such cruddy dialogue. I can't give them too much, but from what they have to work with. But look at how bad the suits look.
Would you have really killed me? Yes.
That was a funny little get jab. That wasn't a horrible line for the sake of the show. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't played as well as it should have been. And they just jump out the back.
Yeah,
they just jump out.
Like at least if they made an argument,
I guess they don't need the ship, right?
No, they don't need. Yeah, they don't need. They don't need nothing.
But they're not getting back on the. There's no way to get back on the ship, right?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. If they had at least said something like there was lower gravity here, I could have believed that they could have jumped more easily.
Well, I thought there's no. I mean, I guess the ship's going down because there's no way to get back to the ship. Like I guess someone's going to find them. I don't know who's going to save them. Like the season ends. Like I got to watch the end because I don't remember how do they even get back to the ship. So this is the scene that everyone just loves, folks. This is the scene where they think John is Master Chief, and they have this horrible seat. So all the CGI in the background, all of this is just so bad. And they actually, I assume they're using some practical effects. I guess. I don't. It's such a cluster to me. I have to be honest. I was just so not interested.
Yeah, I saw people being like, "Oh my god, this is so great! If you could not like this whole series, but this was so fucking great," and I'm like, "No, it's not.
I just couldn't get into it at all." I will say this: little MCD did the right thing. He keeps the gun. I complained about that in episode 1. One of my huge things. Thank you for keeping the gun.
I was more interested here in watching the grunt, just kind of like with the little breather mask. It's like. That was at least something interesting. Like, oh, what's this kind of say about the planet?
Yeah. Well, the fact that the
planet
just like is
as
open
the camera pans up
and has what appears to be some sort of atmosphere because of clouds and stuff, I was reasonably okay. And I was happy to see they at least allowed for a female to still be in this suit. I don't know if the actress is or not. I'm assuming it's a stunt double, but that's not a man's body. They at least didn't swap her out, which is they didn't go Taskmaster, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
They still gave her an important job to do, which was a little.
It looks like at this point they at least remembered what multiplayer was like from Halo. Like they were copying like one of the temple levels.
I think this is why the Halo. I will say Halo. I don't even know what to say. Loki. What was a good nickname for the people? The Halo apologists like this scene because it's very juvenile and primitive. Like it's a very. As long as you don't think about it, this scene seems Halo to them, and I get it.
Yep. And they're doing the same thing with Star Trek. They're doing the exact same thing with Star Trek right now. Just don't think about it and enjoy it. And that's that scene we saw at the beginning.
It feels like Star Trek, right?
That's that scene we got in the beginning with Mullet and Chief where she goes, "You're ruining it because you're explaining things. Oh my God, don't open your mouth because you're ruining it." That's exactly how they feel about all this shit. Is exactly what Miss Mullet did in the first episode. You're ruining it.
We're on the ship, and then she's like, "Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it." It's funny you say that because I was on a stream and somebody said something. I said, "Here's the reason I've lost. I've taken another piece of my black pill was because freaking Doctor Strange mom crossed over $800 million this last weekend." I said that means that many people went to go see it. That's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. So,
right.
Yeah, that and Halo apologists and Strange New World apologists. Yeah, it's still we had a long way to go, folks. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
Oh, I was gonna say at least with, and it's like just to kind of finish off the Star Trek thought. There's like, well, Star Trek was supposed to make people think, and you're telling people not to think about Star Trek. That seems pretty counterintuitive to the whole point of the show.
Yep. Dave Bob joining us. There he is. He's the boss. This ain't Halo. We know, bro.
He's spoken.
Salt's worse. Bad, bad, bad. Boy, that's an understatement. I'll
take his word for it. He's a Spartan.
I could do this. I could do this with Blender. Trust me. I don't know how to do any of this really well. So, yep. Pacific's here. Awesome. Hey guys.
This whole thing amounts to that scene in Doctor Strange where Captain Carter goes, "I could do this all day," and you're like, "Oh my god!"
That's the line. That's the line. I remember the line. I'm part of something.
God.
I'm part of something. I've played Halo. This looks like what I've done. This look, and it gets really, really spoon fed. Like it did. The oatmeal's on the spoon. Oh, by the way, we have to break. We have to take a break for Sunrise to have solved the mystery because she's a Rubik's Cube solvist. I always make Rubik's Cube. I'm a huge fan of the Rubik's Cube. And she realizes that there's a clone. So Doctor is not Doctor. She's clone Doctor.
This I feel was one of the. This I feel is like one of the genuine surprises that watching this I thought was at least a decent built setup for the show. This was like a Chekhov's gun moment to get her out. It's like, okay, I'll give them this much. This was at least a halfway. This was at least a decent, surprise, competent switch.
We can at least say it was a decent surprise. I thought I was surprised. Fine. I will say this because they lower the expectations so much. I was really surprised. How's that? Because there's no way I thought they would actually. Again, I think they wrote the first episode and the last episode. And if I go back and I look at who wrote the episodes, because you can look up exactly all these different players. Why I said I went through this on I think Jace's stream over Obi-Wan, and I explained they brought in Andrew Stanton. He's one of the famous Pixar's creators, and he only came in for the very end of Obi-Wan. That because they don't know their end was crap. Now I'm not saying the end's going to be good. I'm just saying they brought him in until the end. They wrote a bunch of nonsense, and then they bring in somebody. So if you look at some of these different things, they probably had a decent writer come in and put this little twist in or something. I doubt this was actually thought out well. So again, the bar is so low. We cut back, and again, if we contrast this to episode 1 with what Ironcaster was saying, how bad they look in this scene compared to episode 1. And episode 1, I thought only looked good like half the time. This was terrible, man. I was like, oh my gosh. And I kept thinking about like 70s and 80s sci-fi and fantasy films. And like, that's what I feel like. It's just really
As
bad.
a reminder, $10 million an episode.
I know. I cannot believe I had $100 million budget for all this. Anyway, this is the nonsense. They're going to put the artifacts together. They're going to have Hot Pocket activate them, and then they're going to sacrifice her. That's the basically subplot to all this because they think there she is in her seaweed gown, which I'm at least happy they put her back in it so I can have one last look. One last look, her original. And here's their different, moments they're going to give everybody. We have different weapons now out of the blue. They start doing this. This character is left-handed, which I thought was interesting. That's not always a norm, is that we see left-handed characters. See, I'm trying to connect because I can see myself as that.
I have
Spartan.
Representation now.
I'm represented as a left-handed human.
Yes.
See how low I'm going, Loki? Look at this. Look how good this looks. Doesn't it look great? Doesn't it look great, guys? Don't you feel like you're so part of the Halo universe?
This is the bright spot. This is the thing that people were like, say what you will about the Halo TV series. This effing rocks. And I'm like, what are you smoking? What Kool-Aid did you drink? How much did Paramount pay you to write this god-awful BS post on Twitter because you've been smoking something and they're paying you? This is the most epic scene in all of No, it's not. It looks like garbage.
The worst part about it is you have to get through so much crap to get to the good stuff.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Caboose, and I'm on a new television show called Halo. Oh, my God. It's sad when red versus blue.
Hi there, guys. I'm John, and I'm starring as Master Chief in Paramount Pictures' new show, Halo. You remember that? You look like this when you played.
Red versus blue is better than this. That's sad. That's
you probably wonder how I got here.
Yeah,
but I took a wormhole from the other show because my name's Caboose. My name is Michael J. Caboose, and I hate babies. Yeah. Okay.
I hate babies. This is the nonsense, guys. It's literally just this, and then they do the first player shooter stuff where you get the So you can feel like you're part of it. You're part of it. It's exactly how you played when you played. It's so terrible. She's having her emotional meltdown. She's not wanting to touch the artifact, but then
Shit,
she touches it.
Hold
Let me go
on.
back.
Good. Yeah. Hold on. One more.
Go back one more.
Can you? Oh, there it is. I did it. I did a duty. I did a duty in my seaweed wrap. I'm sorry, prophets, but I did it. I did it. I went to the bathroom in my seaweed
I soiled
wrap.
the seaweed. Soil on the seaweed. Halo soiled the seaweed. Halo soiled the seaweed. And she gives in. She touches the artifact, which
Tucks?
no,
She tucks?
I don't
Did
know.
she
What
tuck
she probably
something?
She tucks her seaweed stuff, her mess that she just made. So then she's going to go for it, and there's John, because he's definitely not Master Chief. There's what he looks like. He's no Master Chief.
Ugh.
John, no.
Mackie or Makey. They change their names all the time. McKee. Mackie or
Hot
McKee.
Pocket.
Hot Pocket. Oh.
They're unveiling the new flavor.
Massive power radiates. Oh.
Yes, Dave Bob, the CGI looks like something in the 90s. You're being generous. I was going back to early 80s, like early 80s sci-fi fantasy stuff where they just stand in front of the screens and stuff. Yeah, Pacific Says looks off. Yeah, it is. It is terrible. And you will see so many people talking about the finale, and it's full of action, and it really represents the games, and they feel like it's so good, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, this is nuts. I'm glad that the girl got off. Yeah, it's, she just, it's over. So, all right. So we have our radiation moment, and they all just, I love this kind of thing too. Again, in new sci-fi, we just stand and watch things happen. This is the way of storytelling now. We just watch people watch things.
And you have to zoom in on the eyes.
Yes, we have to make it serious by zooming in on the face. And then back to first-person shooter, because there's John. They'll call Master Chief, but he's just John, I assure you, because he's in love with McKee, seaweed girl.
We gotta get a close up on the mouth.
And we have to see screams. We have to see all the stuff. And then he got too close. She touches the thing. So now he's back in the mysterious Halo world where he has his hallucinations. And she's there with him. And she says, I'm not going back. Oh, the hen sighed.
It's too late, John. We formed the Force Dyad.
Yep. Yep, that's how it played out. Meanwhile, running around, laser blast, pew, pew, pew. Riz, that was their name. Riz was the one that got shot in the shoulder. Riz didn't have a nickname. We didn't have a nickname for Riz. She didn't matter. She still doesn't matter.
Freckles.
Iron Man ripoff. Oh, listen, Dave Bob, go back to what, guys?
Freckles
Episode 4 or 5? Episode 4 or 5 when he jumps out of the thing to save Strawberry Spartan. That's Iron Man. Talk about full on dub in the AC/DC. It was full on Iron Man ripoff. He's not been Master Chief since the episode 1. So
Pops, IronCaster is a good nickname for Riz.
Okay,
Freckles! Freckles!
We have Freckles and Michael Clark Duncan.
Little MCD. Yeah, little Michael Clark Duncan. Paramount couldn't pay me enough to praise this show. Well, no, I'm not praising it. It's again, we'll talk about it. Let's get through it, and then we'll talk about the whole paying you thing, because it is a little weird how some of that works. Here's the little. So I get the close up. This little MCD. Their app just sucks. Oh, Jesus, it's so terrible.
Wrong actor.
Man, she leaves, fade out, blah, blah, blah. Not going back. Close ups. There he is. Shooting stuff. Chief, get up.
I'm getting flashbacks to StarCraft. When they would do the close up of the inside the helmet like that.
Right. I don't know how y'all were able to get through this, because we had fun. You know what? Somebody else asked me this privately on Twitter, and I said, imagine Mystery Science Theater. That is basically how we've survived, because episode 1, it was very, very clear. And I have to be honest, I'm kind of always looking forward to our time to do this, because it actually it's almost like something can get so bad that I have fun razzing on it. And once they all had nicknames and I stopped, I don't even know what half their real names are. I started to kind of like have fun. Like I think what you were saying, Ironcaster, it almost become like a game of like come up with the next thing and how to make it remotely entertaining. And it's too much work to go back and hodgepodge all of it together, hour here, an hour and a half there, whatever. But it definitely is better than the original show.
Like it takes more effort to hate it and power through it. It's like once you've learned to like kind of get some enjoyment out of it and have some fun along the way, it's like this bad show kind of became good. I totally get why Mystery Science Theater 3000 works.
Yeah, you totally can get why they would watch these shows. Like you could just think to yourself, how on earth did they get through all of this or whatever? You can definitely see the fun of it, I guess, is the best thing. Because hate watching is more like watching Az and Batwoman. You can see he's actually just almost like miserable. With this, I actually had like fun hating on it. Like it was never that difficult for me. It wasn't that kind of experience for me. So anyway, there's a whole lot of just nonsense. And basically, Chief's not going to make it. They're trying to hold off some of these, but everyone's down. This is Freckles. Good nickname. Freckles took a shot. A grenade went off on her shoulder, so she's a mess. Let's see what we got here. This is the second you touch them, you'll freeze up. Let's see where we're at.
You can't touch it. I know. Yeah. But you can.
Right. Oh, that's right. Yeah. So, all right. So early on, the scheme by Dr. Doctor was to use Carantana to control Master Chief, and Master Chief would activate the artifacts. But when Carantana was in, Carantana took control. It didn't work. It only worked with actual John. So John would touch it. He's going to flake out. So their strategy is, okay, well, Carantana, you'll have to take over because you can just take them and we'll run away with them or whatever. That was literally the extent of their strategy at this point. So, but what's weird is it's like Master Chief has to decide how he's going to go. So he just decides, I'm going to walk towards the giant creature and just take shots, not even fight back. I'm just going to take it. Look at this. He just drops his gun. He's basically just going to quit Harry Carey. I almost said the word. I assume they don't want us saying that word because God forbid.
No, they don't like it.
English language. I don't care. So he goes kamikaze, and there he is. So
he's talking to the Nemoidians from the Phantom Menace. This is ridiculous. There's two of them.
Oh, there are two of them. Yes.
So basically, he just lays down and just blanks out, and they're all like, "No, Master Chief." He hasn't been Master Chief for a minute. Yeah, it's just calling him by John. And the shots just keep repeating themselves for, I guess, they're trying to go for some dramatic effect. It doesn't work. So this is Carantana. They have like this weird out of the body shot first, which she's big again. Notice how they had her as like a little desktop version for a while. She was like mini Carantana. Now she's full size again. I guess she can just decide how big she wants to be.
Well, that's one of those inconsistencies, kind of a holdover from the games themselves, where in the games she can only appear inside of the helmet on like the display or on the little hockey puck on the desk, like on their little Alexa. And in this, they're like, yeah, whatever, we'll just let her be there.
I say go sideways. Okay. All right. So anyway, he's gone full on kamikaze. And then Carantana basically, when the game is over, she takes control. Everything starts lighting back up again.
Oh, of course they said that line.
Go back on the board. It's so gross. I hated it so much. I don't know if I stopped, but I definitely recoiled whenever that line came.
I had to take a whole day. I had to watch it the next day. I couldn't. I was just done for that day.
I couldn't.
I waited until
I was like,
today.
They went there. They went. I couldn't believe they went so far. I was like, oh my gosh, Loki's got to be out of his mind. I actually wanted to reach out to you, man. How you doing? How you doing, buddy? You doing okay, man? It's like someone kicked your puppy. You lost your dog, man. Sorry, man.
I've got three different Halo Xboxes. I've got every Halo game. And and all the metal cases. So I've got everything that came out originally. I have the anniversary games. I have the metal, the steel case, steelbook games, all physical copies. I've got a damn elite sword up on my wall. I love Halo. If anybody didn't get it, I freaking love Halo. This is sick. This is like we did this just to make you say you don't want anything to do with Halo again. And I'm starting to think that that's what they're doing. We don't want you to have anything to do with it. We want to disgust you. We want to repulse you, and then we want to call you an instant Obadiah for not watching it.
Well, then she is the best Master Chief that can be. She's better
I
at Master
hated
Chief
this.
than Master Chief. It was full on, and I think this is the other part that the Halo apologists love is that, but he's not Master Chief. Like, it's so stupid. I don't understand. Like, it's like, did you watch it? Did you? Another brain shot. But suddenly the ship shows up, low, by the way, low to the ground.
I've got a few problems with
It just starts
the
helping
Master
out.
Chief stuff.
Go ahead.
The fact that he's able to, like, after getting beat down by the elites or the guards, whatever, it's like, surely he's going to have some sort of injuries, but no, we can just shrug that off, and Master Chief can be the bestest Master Chief ever,
Right.
and can also like Wi-Fi control the ship, and like, come on, this is just too ridiculous now. Should Master Chief also like slam dunk a basketball at the same time while doing all this?
You're right. So all of the physical elements are also set aside. Like whatever he went through to quote lose his battle with the elite. Oh, none of that matters either. He's superhuman. Well, she or whatever. It doesn't matter how we want to. I don't even know how to gender it. Anyway, so basically the Carantana controlled Master Chief runs over, grabs the artifact, and starts carrying it out. They grab injured Freckles, start holding everyone off. The new Master Chief puts it on the back of the ramp. Stop them! Yeah, okay. I was like, this is okay. Well, at least none of the writing's not going to get any better. Okay. Whole lot of nothing actually happens, and then you cut back, and then it's suddenly there's the improvised medical care where we just grab a random cable from the ship. Hopefully that's not life support. Anyway, and then we proceed to cauterize the wound, and so that they live. So Freckles will make another day. Hang in there, Freckles. Freckles will make it. The ship's on autopilot, I guess, because there's no one left to be flying. The ship just knows what it's doing. The ship just knows. They don't explain. They don't. Carantana's got it under control, we guess, because there is no explanation on how any of that happened. It just happens. And you're supposed to just be along for the ride and be okay with it all just happening. And then they cut back to the planet, and the real Doctor is on the run because Doctor, which was a clone, died.
Meanwhile, Doctor has a new creeper.
Yep, new creeper. Well, yeah, let's see if we can find new creeper. Creeper 2. Creeper 2.0. Yep, there's Creeper 2.0. And then they cut back to Sunrise. She's got to have a dramatic moment. They zoom in on to see Doctor is wanted. Authoritarian Margaret's still around. Black Keys is around. Here's Freckles. Freckles is doing fine. She's going to heal just fine, we're told.
Like the worst looking wounds. Like it looks like they just took wet gummy snacks and stuck them on her.
Yeah. Tom Savini's like, I could do better in my sleep when I was drunk and high. Orville Nash would pop in it. Hey, man.
What up, PJ?
Yep. And let's see. We're just basically just wrapping up. Strawberry, I did. She lives to fight on. She lives to fight on. And then there's the Cortana Chief, and Cortana Chief doesn't speak, just silence.
Also, never takes the helmet off.
Helmet stays on. Helmet stays on.
Which feels like almost feels more insulting, really, to end this all on. Like, oh, Master Chief is just gonna
She doesn't even release him, right? She just kind of just keeps control. You don't know how it's going to end.
That's why the helmet always stays on. That's why the helmet always stays on in the games now, because Cortana, it's Cortana. It's Cortana, everybody.
Cortana talks to Cortana. She controls Seed.
It is insane that there are apologists of the show. Like, this show is so objectively bad. Someone said to me, I forget which one I was talking about, because, well, that's your opinion. I said, there are like objective standards of things that are good and bad. Like, we actually have award shows for this reason. We can kind of like, we send people to school and they learn their crafts. There are certain elements, and I'm not going to toot my own horn as some sort of like credentialed critic, but kind of a credentialed critic, kind of reviewed a couple of these things. And I mean, they can't even get costuming and set design and all that crap to look decent. I mean, this show is just garbage from the ground up. This has been terrible. It's been way worse than I thought it would be in some ways, to be honest, when I started this mess with you two. I expected Loki to be freaking out. I gotta be honest. I knew it was going to get bad. I started watching. I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. But I didn't think it was going to be as bad. Like some of the stuff, Ironcaster, you and I were pointing out, like just crazy costuming and character design, little things. You're like, this is like junior varsity bad. This is really, really bad.
There's a movie on YouTube, Kung Fury.
Okay.
It's a little like 22-minute film. It's out for free. Mm-hmm. It was like this crowdfunded movie. It is all the 80s dialed up. It has better special effects.
Yes. Yep.
He fights Hitler.
Everything ticks you off, Jace, just to be honest. But we totally understand with this show. And they love Loki Rage. Loki's been very, very under control for me. I will be honest.
I knew all this was coming. I knew all this was coming. And, I had my walk away. Usually I'll walk away. I'll go outside. I'll smoke on my vape. I'll do whatever. I'll chill out. I'll come back and I'll finish the episode. No, I had to wait a whole freaking day. I was flipping off my screen. I was flipping off the show. I was telling the show to take a big F. It can go F itself. I was just losing my shit. And now I'm just like, you know what? It's just crap. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just crap.
It's worse than I thought it would be, because I really thought at the end it was going to be, I can't go. You're, it's like her telling him, Master Chief, your vitals are dropping, whatever. And he's like, I can find a way. I can find a way. And then it's like, you'll have to help me. Like it will be, I need her to help me, but he would still be in there. I didn't think they would go as far as they went. So that to me was the part I think was like, what on earth? And it's so gross. We had 2 episodes ago. Was it 2 episodes or 1 episode ago was Last Jedi, right? We had to go Last Jedi. Now we had to have this. I don't even know what to equate this to. This may be the worst in some ways, because they quite literally murdered the titular character. Like, this is crazy.
That Doctor Who special that killed Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, well I guess Doctor Who's probably worse, right? Because they retcon the entire franchise by saying no, it originated with a young black girl and it was an alien and it was this. Yeah, that's true, because that is like almost, I don't know how you would undo all of that. To be honest with that. So
meanwhile, this just said, forget the canon. We're going to do our own thing. We threw that in the garbage before we even started the show. And we just kind of kept a couple of visual elements, like, oh, this is what the guns look like. Which, by the way, when you get the first person shots of them shooting, if you watch, the ammo count is not tracking down at the rate they're shooting.
That's crazy. Yes. It doesn't surprise me. Remember the episode 1? It was like kill code 72 or whatever it was, and I'm like, Loki, is that an actual thing? And you're like, no. I'm like, they can't even bother. Oh boy, Kung Fury 2 will come.
Yeah, it'll have David Hasselhoff sing the theme song again.
Michael Fassbender, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Alexandra Shipp, and the OFC old cast with David Hasselhoff. Yes. Hail to the peeps in Sweden that made that movie. Okay, Jace, did not know that.
I didn't know it was made in Sweden.
Chris, hey man, Thanks for coming by. Graceful departure for Master Foe. And also one says independent film that's going to make a Halo movie.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I heard there was something coming. So that was good to see. Blow up Doctor Who universe and Doctor rebuilds it, ending the timeless children. They're not going to fix any of
That was the episode.
Yeah.
I would rather watch. You brought up Kung Fury. I would rather watch like Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh, that's good too.
That's a good comedy, at least. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Then watch any of this shit that CBS Paramount's coming.
I did give movie for the movie. Now we're getting longer. Not Master Chief is no more. Nope. It was Carantana.
All along, it was Cortana.
Carantana all along. Carantana all along.
PJ, it's Paramount, buddy. It's Paramount.
Hey, bro, this bar is so low.
It was Paramount all along.
It was Paramount all along, is right. I did give money for the first movie. So I guess you're talking about you bought the first Kung Fury. So, soccer. All right. So, obviously, there has to be a season 2 that was contracted. So, Loki, what do you think? Because, like I said,
contracted to who?
This is all these people are under contract, and
no. That don't mean shit.
Oh,
who did they contract out to? It's not Netflix.
No.
So
this is make another one.
They've hyped this up as being like the best new sci-fi television series in the last decade. Paramount's like proud as shit of this monumental flop they've come out with. None of the fans of Halo want this. No one's watching this except people that love like self butchery and that's us. We're hurting ourselves watching this shit. We're the only ones watching it. Who's paying for it? I know who's paying for Star Trek. I know who's paying to keep STD going. Who's paying to keep this going?
Yeah, PJ. It
is. I just found a review from Forbes.
Okay, hang on. Let's finish. Make sure we're caught up. Someone calls them gay flicks.
This is trash.
Everything is gay flicks, to be honest.
This is total and complete trash. This is not the best sci-fi in decades. Whoever said that's smoking something.
Yeah, this was a reasonably shocking surprise that Forbes would be honest, or at least reasonably honest. I did like the fact that they also scroll down just a little bit on Ironcaster. You can see that he doesn't have his helmet on. So I at least like the fact that at least they're being transparent. They're not trying to mislead with that kind of thing.
I like you. Ugh.
You think they'll pull a plug on season 2? Because season 2 was already greenlit whenever this was being dropped. They were talking about a season 3 as being iffy. They've already went this far. I don't think there's any chance.
That's crazy. That is absolutely positively crazy. We're committed to this turd, and nothing's going to change our mind. That's crazy. I hope Paramount goes effing bankrupt. I almost said the bad word, but I'm going to try to be nice because I'm on Pops' show. I hope they freaking go bankrupt.
Bastages.
Let's see. Now that all 9 episodes of this has come and gone, season 1, I want to reflect on the series as a whole. Now that it's all come together for the finale, no matter what, season 2 is coming. But even if it wasn't greenlit ahead of time, it would have been, given that Halo was a viewership hit, Paramount's biggest series in the streaming service. Well, how much of the Star Trek stuff has been under the Paramount Plus and like not CBS?
Well, it all is now. It's like CBS got rolled into Paramount, so it kind of all is.
That's why it's TV 14.
Well, right, but the problem with that though is how many of those shows were under Paramount Plus, and how many of those were not.
Okay, so STD 1 through 4 was CBS. Picard season 1 was CBS. So Picard season 2. And Strange New Worlds is under Paramount Plus, not, like I said before, the first 4 seasons of STD or the first season of Picard. Everything else is under Paramount Plus.
Okay.
It's not a very good sci-fi show. So with so many better options out there in the streaming age, The Expanse, Raised by Wolves.
Which they copied The Expanse.
Yeah, they ripped off The Expanse. We covered that back in episodes 2 and 3.
It's not a very good Halo
awesome
show.
one says
with
even
truly baffling
leftist
character
angry
decisions
Joe hates Halo.
and lore
That's
changes
sad.
made to almost every single episode.
That's because Angry Joe earned his freaking chops on Halo. And when it comes to certain things, he will hold to this was badass and this sucks. He caved with Star Wars. He caved like a little bitch. And I will never forgive Joe for doing that, for caving like a little bitch with Star Wars. But yeah, he's just got more and more iffy.
Yeah, Jason,
but
that's what I
at
saw,
least he holds to Halo. He holds to what Halo was. He doesn't want this shit. Nobody wants this shit.
Well, let me share you the other side of this. This is the total shill. In case you had not seen, your head's gonna pop off. This came out 4 days ago. It's so glad I couldn't do it. You got to be kidding me. Games Radar.
And the showrunners
From our-
left.
radar
The showrunners left before the show ever started.
Yeah, they bailed. Paramount Plus Halo series subverts expectation in brilliant ways, making it for a meaningful and unexpected video game adaptation. I kid you freaking not.
No.
I know. Yeah.
Wasn't
it's just nonsense. So these
Did
reviews
any
are
of
out
you-
there.
Did any of you guys see the new Top Gun ad where it says prepare to invert your expectations?
Oh no.
Oh,
no, I
that's
did
an
not
yes.
see that.
Oh, effing yes. It said prepare to invert your expectations.
Trying
Not
to
subvert.
talk
Not
about
subvert.
them turn it over, but that's not what they mean. Oh. They haven't played up any major female characters, and that's just basically been like the Miles Teller is the son of
They're-
Goose and is in conflict with Maverick. So
They're playing off the inverted scene where
Sure.
he's like, we were inverted, right? Well, they have this F-18 scene where they're both of them are like in that same position. And when it does that, it says prepare to invert your expectations.
it breaks tonight. So we'll start hearing stuff tonight or tomorrow because there's a screening tonight. The creators announced, that's what I read before. Sorry. Paramount also confirmed that Stephen Kane would leave the show after season 1, and David Weiner, who has previously worked on Brave New World, will serve as showrunner for the upcoming season. Yeah, I know.
Star Trek writers can't just keep getting shuffled
The
around.
nepotism, man. The nepotism. Failing up.
Yes.
Biggest on a failing platform. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you remember, there's that link, that list I showed that showed Paramount Plus was at like what 5%, if that, of the streaming audience.
Love letter.
And yes, they did. They said it was a love letter to Gene Roddenberry, and they can kiss my fat ass. It is
freaking insane.
They completely disrespected DC Fontana and the writer for the book that is, I think it's entitled Number One. I'm not exactly sure, but they didn't credit DC Fontana and they didn't credit the writer for that book. And they basically took everything out of that book and gave it to Number One in the new series, and did all that in episode 3 of the show. So screw them.
Well, let me introduce you to the Scissoring Hen, because I didn't know that she was in charge. I got to be honest. I don't know who. Jace, would you say the guy's name was Stephen King? He's been the name that's been associated. They wheeled him and the other people out there in front, but she's the actual person in charge. I had to dig a little sideways to figure her out.
There she is.
There it is. Kiki Wolfkill. She's in charge of transmedia at 343 Industries Game Studio. She's in charge of Halo. She is the person in charge. She's the person calling all of the shots. All of the shots. So there's your Scissoring Hen for you, folks. If you wanted to know why we're talking about feelings and why we're walking around not doing anything, why we inserted Miss Mullet and not Dave Chappelle for no freaking reason, you have, I mean, we had like the equivalent of probably 4 to 5 episodes of screen time, completely irrelevant to all this. Hot Pocket wasn't even in like 3 or 4 of these episodes. Like, I'm not trying to say Hot Pocket was good. I'm just like, at least Hot Pocket had something to do with the story that they were trying to go for. She's not even in half the season. That's how crappy the story is. It's so insane. But I will tell Loki, I will almost 100% guarantee that hen, unless there's something happens financially, there is no way they're not gonna stop. They're not gonna stop.
An awesome one brings up Infinity. The Cortana in this is not Cortana from Halo Infinite. That is the Cortana you get. Go and play that game and listen to not Cortana, or as they call her, Weapon, in Halo Infinite. It is the same Cortana we get in the show.
And they make the exact same Cortana. To play females in the lead of the game. So, yeah, this is just a problem. These people are mentally ill. It says, yeah, he 180 for the wrong direction. Yeah, they are. It's completely insane. I'm trying to catch up on chat. He said wiener. Yeah, I did, Bob. Yeah, I did. Thanks for noticing. I think I said it 3 times, and I did a little quiet, little Beavis laugh to myself. Did you guys hear that Kate Mulgrew, not wanting her legacy destroyed like Patrick Stewart, insisted they not wokeify Prodigy? No, I had not heard. Well, see, the problem with the Patrick Stewart is Patrick Stewart treated it as Picard as a self-insert. So he is solely responsible for instigating how we're going to go in this direction. I'm not saying he's responsible for how bad it got, but he definitely steered it towards that direction. Yeah, he's a complete crazy person in real life.
Kate Mulgrew came out though and said that Gene Roddenberry was a complete total sexist. He took advantage of women. That the original Star Trek series was sexist and yada yada and all this bull crap, and sat there and crapped on everything that originally created Star Trek. So I don't see Kate like really going, no, don't wokeify anything, because Kate's been one of the biggest, it's all the man's fault, and it was all sexist, and it was all casting couch, and it was all Gene and Shatner's fault. She's come out pointing her fingers and tried to cancel both of those. And to sit there and talk bad about a dead guy, I don't care what Gene did. You don't sit there and talk about the founder of your show after he's dead and run your mouth about him like that.
Definitely about stuff like that. Like, you're not talking about, like, this isn't like debate about who created what. This is like ism type stuff. That's just so gross. I hate all of that stuff. The person can't defend themselves.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just nuts. Patrick Stewart is not all there mentally. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, the big problem there is Patrick Stewart is not Jean-Luc Picard. Yeah. He had writers to make him sound smart.
It's weird that Mulgrew would say that, considering how woke she is in real life. And Loki pointed out, no problem smearing Gene's name. Yeah, it's very strange. These people are all over the map. Joker voice pops in. Hey, Joker.
Hello, Joker voice.
All of that. And then awesome one saying, well, man, she said F you to God for so long. So, yeah, I don't know. This show was really, it was strange because it's almost like a hold my beer moment. Like, they almost looked at Netflix and looked at some of these other shows and said, listen, watch this. We're going to go further. We're going to kill off the character that's the advertising mechanism for the entire show and replace it with the female entity. Talk about almost like a trans metaphor. I could see them like clinking champagne and over some caviar and toast and full. We put her in him. Do you understand what we just did? Don't you get it?
Cortana's got a dangler now.
Look at what she can do. She's in charge. Don't you understand?
She can pee standing up.
That sounds so amazing. I haven't watched it, but it sounds so good. I can't believe it that he did. And you had Miss Mullet. Oh my gosh, she was so strong. She's such a role model for young teen girls. Oh my God.
Pops Cortana can go in the men's room now. She can pee with the dude standing up.
Or sitting down if she chooses. Now. She can do either one. She can go whatever she wants. She has total autonomy. Maybe that's why Strawberry Spartan gives her that look, like, you go, girl. You got it. You go, girl. You can stand now. You have to sit like I do. I don't know. Show's freaking messed up, guys. Show is freaking messed up.
But on the plus side, we don't have to watch anymore.
PJ says, you guys are right. We know. Yeah. She's not an idiot. She can identify as a failure like Picard. Yeah. I mean, it's just, what are you saying, IRONCASTER? I'm sorry.
Said, at least not until next season.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. All right. So we only got like 15 minutes or so. Let's talk about, so next week we're going to have fun night. So feel free to pop in, guys. Maybe we'll let a few that come in and join us. We're just going to have some fun night talking about the positive stuff that we love, talk about some of our collectibles, things like that. I'm going to tease because next week we'll pop them open. I saw IRONCASTER showing off some of his stuff on a different show. And I said, yeah, I got to go get them out. I do have a Series 1 Marvel set from 1990, the very first ones that are, I call them canon. I refer to it as canon. There are actually older Marvel cards, but they're not considered part of the actual like rookie card, first appearance type stuff. It's like they're like off-brand type stuff. So, and I do still have. I've shown these off a little bit before. We'll do a little bit more tomorrow night.
Trading cards.
I do have an actual original. This is a Jedi one.
Oh,
Nice.
I have an Empire Strikes Back set. So I got to pull that out of the do not sell box as well. And some other fun stuff too. I got tons of my Indiegogo stuff's been rolling in. I got my stuff from Vosburg, so Voss. So, and then tomorrow night I'll be doing it's actually Star Wars Day tomorrow, guys. It's actually the 45th anniversary of the big movie tomorrow. We're going to sit down. Mags is going to co-host with me. Feel free to come in, share some thoughts and memories, maybe something that you have that means a lot to you, that represents Star Wars to you. Tomorrow night's just another night to pay tribute to where it all began. So I've got some fun photos and interviews lined up that we'll pull and have some fun memories with. So what else do you guys got going on?
So the Friday Night Comic Shop Talk is off this week. So I'm going to be hitting the road. Going to be, I think, going to a little Comic-Con here in Michigan.
Ooh, good. Awesome. That's great.
So maybe I'll find some new goodies for next week.
We went on our penis and analogy here. Now it's gone bonkers in our chat here. So I don't know what's happened. So Joker says, that's like, keep telling folks we are no longer the audience for this content current Hollywood creates for themselves. And he said, well, this is the epitome of penis envy. It is. Exactly. There is such a disdain for femininity and female traits and strong. My wife had said this. I'm going to throw some total credit to the First Lady. This was, 10, 12 years ago. She started doing youth ministry with the girls, and she was talking about how much, and I don't know exactly how she ended up down this rabbit hole, but she went through examples, stuff that was in their school curriculum. She was going through stuff people were saying in some of the magazines, and how if you had stayed home as a mom, you were a terrible role model. If you had more than 2 kids, you were a terrible role model. If you just all these different elements that were an attack on sort of like a traditional mom that loves her kids and wants to raise them up to be good moms too. It does not mean you can't have a career. It did not mean you couldn't be independent. It didn't mean you didn't have a say in your home. It's this weird thing. And now we've jumped the shark where it's like we're going to come up with an AI female character that's going to take control of the alpha male in a show. It's so freaking meta. I'm just like, what has happened to the freaking world?
She's better at being the hero than he was.
Correct. That's the whole moral of the story. The whole episode ends with she's a better Master Chief than he ever was. That's the entire point of the show. I think it's all the bitter women that were used by men are now, instead of lifting up and growing, have decided to seek revenge. That is definitely how they think of it. They think of themselves as also better in some ways.
Isn't there a term for it? Femcells?
Femcells, yep.
I just heard
talking about that this morning. We were talking about
that on your show too?
Femcells, yep.
All right.
I thought I heard it somewhere.
Ryan, you're more than welcome to try to pop in. Absolutely. Epitome. The epitome. The epitome of hyperbole. Epitome of hyperbole. That's a reference for you guys to look up. Yep. And almost at 1K. Yeah, PJ, I don't know what happened, bro. I had 4 or 5 videos that all independently got like 500 to 1,000 or more views of one another. So Reddit, a little bit. Facebook, kind of like a few things. I don't know what's happened.
You're sharing it out. sharing it out. Keep sharing it out, brother.
I'm a believer that's what you have to do. You kind of have to pound the pave. I mean, I'm up against a whole bunch of people that call themselves Pops. So first and foremost, that is part of my branding problem, right? That is the nickname I have. And there's like, and it was Pops on Pop Culture. There evidently is like an actual podcast with a couple of OGs like me. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a problem with YouTube because I couldn't brand it in the same way I'd been going.
I had the same problem. I had the same problem in the very beginning. That's why I didn't use Stone Loki, because there's a band called Stone Loki. There are about 100, 200 people out there called Stoned Loki. And I was like, you know what? I got to come up with a better name. And I was like, Loki's Mornings of Mischief. And originally it was just Mornings of Mischief. And someone was like, Mom. And I said, okay, fuck that. I'll throw the Loki in there and keep the Loki in there. Okay, Loki's Mornings of Mischief.
Yeah. All right. And we got Mom and Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Oh, Doctor Strange Mom. Doctor Strange Mom. So how far is Michigan from me? All right, awesome one. Look, check that map. Check that map. Thank you, PJ. If you're not subscribed, appreciate the little plug there. I got to get there to open up everything is about another step. Like you have to get to this point so you can do membership. You have to get to this point so you can do the community. It's just, that's all I think about. I'm always thinking about like how to grow and engage with people. That's why I want all you guys' streams and I listen to your stuff. And if I'm not commenting, guys, it's because I'm at work, but I'm listening. I'm trying to like and share and comment and all, because I'm trying to play the game. That's how all this works. And there is a lot of truth. Trust me, as someone who's gone through and failed 2 or 3 times, a lot of truth to We Rise Together. There's a lot of truth to creating a new floor, if it will. Like every time someone does something, it's like, okay, now the floor comes to here. And then, okay, now the floor can move to here. You know, and it's like you're creating these Venn diagrams of interconnectivity. So awesome one. No nuclear family, no life for anyone. Yes. It's the build up to the end. And but Pops, women can have more than 2 kids and be acceptable so long as the kids were fathered by different men and not in the family lives. But she don't need no man. I know. Trust me, Chris. We've done ministry. We meet people and folks that are just kind of like, I don't know what to tell you because you've got a lot of cards stacked against you that you don't even know that you have stacked against you. So, Steven said algorithm is wonky now. Yes. Oh, woo. The algorithm is all over the map. All over the map.
They're throttling, by the way, too. They're throttling. One of the things I have noticed is, like in the morning, we'll get done with the show. We'll have like 60 views. On average, if I have 40 to 50 people on my show, we will have 120 to 150 views by the end of the show. Now it's showing 60 to 70, and over the course of the day, it'll shoot out to around 120 to 150. That is throttling. They're also throttling subscribers. So you might have like 100, you might have like two subscribers in a week, when in reality you had 15 to 16, whatever, and they're slowly being given to you over time. They are throttling.
I was actually, Joker was in here. I was making comments to your videos, and then when I clicked your main screen to see what videos I hadn't watched yet, I realized it said I was not subscribed, and it was not a creator I know well enough. I actually kept trying to hit the like button on their video, and the little thumbs up would not light up. That actually happened the last couple of days as well.
It's crazy.
Crazy, weird things. Hey, Dean Krantz, man, thanks for popping in. Hashtag we grow together. Yeah, we grow together, we rise together. Hey, Dean. Yeah, we're just happy to have you in here. PJ's agreeing. Ice cream float sounding good. Ironcaster is Loki's mom. Loki's mom. That's freaking great. God. Freaking great. All right, what was Mars joke by 2045 show? Okay.
Oh, Bill Maher said something on his show Friday night, I guess.
Oh, okay. If you come up to Michigan, avoid the southern portion of the state, go to Lansing, but avoid the other cities in the state.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Oh, just the bottom third of the state has like 60% of the population. That's where you get all the big cities. Like, that's where you have Detroit and Lansing and
cities are hardcore blue. I mean, I got it.
Yeah, it's like basically once you get above about here, in the state, which, mind you, there's also a second peninsula.
Yep. And if those of you that don't know, I did a lot of writing for years on different websites, and that was part of Google News, and a lot of political analysis, a lot of bean counting in politics, a lot of like poll crunching and data and analysis and stuff like that. So I'm well aware of maps and how some of that stuff works. So throttling notifications has been going on now hardcore for a couple months. Hardcore not seeing notifications until after the fact.
Yep.
And
So,
they just had a thing where all the streams were privating.
If you go into your analytics, you can actually see how many people are being notified each stream.
Oh.
And we're getting 10 to 12 notifications going out in the morning. I've got over 1,700 subscribers. I know more people than 12 have it because we'll get 50 to 60 people on in the morning. So I know more than that, and they're all regulars. They're all regulars. So don't tell me that people don't have their notifications on.
Also, it's about making sure that you have the bell clicked so you get notifications, and then also when you can see like the streaming advertising, like you'll see it says premiering soon or set of reminders, clicking those as well. So together we will rise. Part of Mr. Dr. Professor's motto. Appreciate all of Ryan's hard work. He's been blowing up, by the way. Keep it up, Ryan. It's raining and the sun is out. Metropolis is about 4 hours from me. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, next week we'll have some fun. It'll be a lot more about collectibles, stuff we like, stuff we love.
I just got a package from looks like Indiegogo.
I got my Blame Loki shirt today. So, there's that too. So
I got my Rod Thunderheart book day before yesterday.
Ooh.
You made a book?
He made a book.
Yeah.
Indeed, he made a book. So I just got it. I've got both of Adega Outlaws. I've got two hardbacks of Evolution on order. Those just came out. So Adega Outlaws book just this will be the second edition. It's limited in hardback. There's only going to be so many of these, and then they'll go back to the paperback soft cover. But yes, I got two of the hardbacks. So I got one for him to sign, and I got one to read.
That's awesome. And then someone says, wow, they deliver to the Halo ring. Cool. Okay. Yeah, guys. Well, thanks for a good night. It's been awesome. Star Wars is tomorrow. For any of you that want to swing by to me, Mags and I will be hosting a little Star Wars celebration tomorrow night. And got a lot of fun stuff coming up. I was securing Andy Masterson's for one of my nights with some Watch Your Story and some fun stuff. So Andy will be coming our way. And James Mealy will be back on with me again. I didn't really feel like I did James Mealy justice because he's a hardcore original comic book art guy. So everybody talks a lot about comic books. We talk a lot about all this collecting. One of the things we really ignore is actual original comic book art. And he has pieces that are there's some fantastic stuff. I mean, you can get original art. Even, I know this is not genre stuff, but guys, original Archie pages for like $50. I'm like, what? I'm like, I thought I was looking at something wrong. And I'm like, because they just produce so much of it, sometimes this stuff will sit and then just gets in like backlog. So anyway, James is a great resource. And he has, I mean, the stories this guy can tell you of comic book cons. He's done about 100 times more stuff of meet and greets and stuff with these people than I have. He's so connected to some of these people. So I will have James back on here in June as well in a couple weeks. So tons of fun stuff. So we got 2 shirts for Orville. 2 shirts for the Orville the other day. All right. Well, listen, man, you know what? Come up in here next week and maybe we can try to have some time to show off some stuff you guys got handy. It's a happy day to you, Loki, and the other guy. The other guy is IronCaster. Happy Dinosaur 8000. We're happy to have you, though. Thanks for popping in here.
Little bubble bobble dinosaur.
I'm not up to date on Orville. I will have to live through you guys. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to catch up because I don't have Hulu. Hulu's by the way, they're listening because they're bribing me with the $1. Yes, I literally told Maria, and the next day I got the alert about it's a $1 thing. I'm like, you guys are spying and listening, you bastards.
I'm gonna be reviewing the Orville. You should come by. I can like send you all the episodes. I don't even gotta dick around with Hulu. I'll just send you all the episodes.
Missed your interviews. They were short. They were clipped from past shows. Yeah. So 2 things. So if I do a long interview, I'll post that and I'll post clips out of it. And I have been trying to go through. So I have I have a bunch of my junk that's stored on like a external hard drive. A lot of them are just random radio stuff. So like I just posted the Michael Rooker thing. If you go to my page, you can find a little video. It's a video, but it's basically just audio only when I got to talk to Michael Rooker. But his end sounds terrible, but there's no way to remaster it. That's the only file I have. So that's me interviewing Michael Rooker back in the day, like 2014, 15, maybe. I don't remember when that was from. So Dispatch Radio was what I called what I owned. So even if I was working for someone else, I always asked, like if Ironcaster had a radio show or whatever, I'd be like, well, that's fine, but I own this piece, right? So I get my own file. So that's what I called my stuff that I own, was that. That's why you'll see that nomenclature on there. So, a Dr. Seuss storyboard. Dean, you gotta send me a picture of that. Hit me up on Twitter. I'd see a picture. I'm a hardcore Seuss fan. Hardcore. I actually did a thesis in college on Seuss. Theodore Seuss Giesel. Huge fan. Creative mind. I've yet to open my S2 of Orville. I must watch. Yeah, you got to get caught up, man. It's happening soon. It's happening soon. Dean says, I've stopped watching all streaming services except Amazon. They're the only reason they are around because of the shipping. Yeah, it's a lot of people saying. I actually don't have Amazon Prime. So go ahead.
I would recommend if you want to pick something up, Tubi and Pluto TV are good recommendations because they're free. They're ad supported. So, but you have a good variety of stuff on there. You could watch The Prisoner.
There's a ton of stuff in there, by the way.
Tubi has a channel that plays nothing but the Addams Family.
I will do, PJ. Thank you very much. We got to get together, man. We can do a stream. We can talk about anything else. I just don't know Orville. I'm not going to pretend to know stuff I don't know. I have no, I've said it before. I have no aversion. Just didn't get in when it first happened. And it's just time management, man. You're just doing so much. And I've been freaking LOKI. Took me down this freaking Star Trek rabbit hole. You bastards, man. So that stupid song, because I saw it and the 4K stuff. Yeah, it was freaking great, man. The music. Oh my God. And I'm not a Trek person. I treat the motion picture as the prequel to Wrath of Khan. I don't even treat it like a real movie because I only care about the first part of the movie. I don't really care about the last half of the movie. And I'm like, that music.
Yeah.
And it is Starship's porn. It is.
Yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is.
It only makes me as a Star Wars fan want to get that type of experience with like a Star Destroyer and the Millennium Falcon. Actually, Millennium Falcon, that's the only thing I can say that's great about seeing Galaxy's Edge at freaking Hollywood Studios, because I stopped in my tracks when I got to see it. My wife and I are walking up these stairs. You come up these stairs, you get to a certain point, and there it is, just sitting there. And I just stopped walking. There's people all around me going by me, and I just froze like a freaking 6-year-old all over again. Like when I was 6 years old and I saw this thing for the first time, looking at the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, and I just froze. I was literally it was like this 30 seconds of me just standing there like a freaking child looking at this thing. And everything else after that was kind of a letdown, to be perfectly honest.
Did you hear the music? Da na 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 na. Da na na na.
That's so good. And I will admit that, first off, by the way, I am a huge James Doohan fan. James is a freaking boss, man. He's a World War II vet, taking the bullets, becoming a pilot. I mean, I don't know if you guys know Scotty's story, man. I don't have a copy. I can't find a hard copy. I love hardback books. I don't really care for soft covers as much, of his book where he talks about all that, because I don't think I've read his original book.
Did you hear about that one where the girl was writing him? That girl was writing him, and she was all alone. She didn't have anybody. She was in this like, she didn't go out. She didn't do anything. She was completely down on her life. She wanted it to be done. And she wrote him. She said, "You were always my favorite. I'm kind of at the end of my rope," and yada yada. And he said, come to blah 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 convention, the Star Trek convention that's going to be in town. And she came. He sent her plane ticket, and she came. And she followed him around for like 2 years, and then he disappeared. She disappeared. And he said, "I had this horrible feeling that she gave up." And then a couple years after that, she showed up at a convention, and she had a husband, and she had children.
Oh, wow.
And he said that is what this is all about. That
Yes.
that one thing, inviting her and her kind of tagging along for, I think it was a year or two. She tagged along and went to the conventions and then just disappeared. And he was worried. He was worried, and her phone
what
number wasn't
happened?
the same.
Yeah.
He tried to reach out, and then she showed up at a convention with a husband and 2 kids. And he was like, oh my, there you are.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the best stories you ever hear about Star Trek, about Scotty, about any of them, is that
So
story.
awesome, man. And it's just he literally lived the Hollywood cliche, right? The metal cigarette case in his pocket saved the bullet that would have hit him in the chest. Like that's literally it's just, this dude was a freaking boss. So anyway, our chat continues to roll like crazy, of course. So check me, or PJ, I got you, man. You'll check it out. I'm watching anime on Crunchyroll. I don't know what Crunchyroll is.
It's like
Netflix.
Netflix to anime.
So it's free?
Yeah.
Or no? Paid service? Not
Paid
free.
service. So awesome one. I hope you're like slowly working through One Piece, because like you could have 1,000 episodes of that. You'll be fine. Like that's not exaggeration. There are 1,000 episodes.
Big fan, Joker Face. With you, bro. Big fan of Tubi. Big fan. Ironcaster, one for you, says I found all the episodes to The Prisoner on YT.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised at some of the things I've been able to find just kind of floating deep in the confines of YouTube, like full movies that just
there is a crappy version of Johnny Dangerously.
Yeah,
not a good version, but it's there. And guys, I'm gonna tell you what, it's a hard diss. They do not want us to be watching Johnny Dangerously. We need to do we need to do Johnny Dangerously Halo style, where we go through some of this stuff. But we're gonna get copyright. They were totally not. My mother stuck me on a hook once. That movie is so freaking great. The amount of dialogue that's just brilliant. Speaking of Star Wars, my new video I'm working on with multiple trade articles last week, right before Celebration, is part of KK's farewell. No, it is not. She is completely safe, Joker. Sorry. Inside sources tell me. There's no... These people are mentally ill. They don't look at the... You know why we know? Because $800 million for Doctor Strange mom.
Unfortunately, you have had a group of people point their finger for so long and say, this woman is the problem. She is not the problem. Disney and Lucasfilm as a whole are the problem. It's sick down to its
Pablo
roots.
Hidalgo.
Yeah.
They're all freaking poison, man. Look. When we all heard Robert Rodriguez was going to direct Mandalorian in any way, shape, or form, some of us were like, all right, let's check out some Book of Boba Fett, some Mandalorian. Let's find out what's going on here, man. And then we see the crap they produce. No, there's freaking poison in the water.
Well, I was one of those people that said, no, it's not going to be anything beyond what we've already gotten in other shows, because they're not going to let him off a leash. Nope. And I was told, I was absolutely positive, you're crazy, Loki. You're just black-pilled. You're black-pilled. And I said, Disney's never going to let him off his leash to do what he does. And what did you get? You got spinning blaster guy.
Yeah, if Disney were to go Warner Brothers, like at this point, like it just gets so financially bad, it becomes like I don't think they can, because of the amount of money that generates out of the theme parks. But let's just presume they could. There would be Sam Raimi cuts of Doctor Strange mom. There would be other cuts of all of this nonsense of what was actually planned, because the end result is not what they originally planned. Even the moments where you think you can have hope, it's not getting through. Not right now. It's way worse than we thought it was.
It's such a big top-down corporation that won't get the quality. You would not get Iron Man today.
No, they wouldn't. We didn't get Iron Man then. That was a Paramount product. That was
exactly.
Company.
That's my point. Like,
Disney
wouldn't put out Iron Man.
Yeah, I forget who I was on with. We were discussing the timeline of all that. People don't realize how much of that was already in the works before Disney got their hands on it.
That's right.
The Avengers, this stuff was already done.
The Avengers came out under
2 years before, because if it came out in 2012, this means this was written and it was filmed 2 years before that, written a year or so before that. You're in like 2008. No, they did not have their fingers on any of that stuff. They just got gifted all that stuff.
I mean, I think the first might have been Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'd have to look at the timeline. I because the dates matter. But James Gunn gets credit because he pulled off. I got to be honest. If there's anybody that pulled the wool over their eyes, it was him because they probably didn't know what the hell Guardians of the Galaxy even was. But anyway,
Right.
Joker, I look forward to your video. Happy to disagree. KK will be here. She's not going anywhere. They're making. You know what? I know this is crazy because all the way the numbers work or whatever. But if you check the stock report, there's a little app I use. They made a profit. Disney freaking made a profit. It's a very small number. Very, very tiny. Not like any of that's coming home to you or me. Like we're not getting like an extra buck a share or whatever, but it's a 1%. I mean, it's nuts because of all the theme park money and the international money and the Shanghai money and all this freaking crap. It's sick. It's gross and it makes me ill because I love this stuff. I want it to be
the other
good.
thing to point out is none of the backlash with the Florida stuff reflected this last quarter. So
no. And this stuff, again, we're not going to get real numbers. So you're not going to ever see actual numbers of the intricacies of the things that are interesting. Like we're not going to get Paramount Plus numbers. We can believe. We're not going to, trust me, as a press person, I can tell you how hard it is to get real data. Even the box office numbers are really sketchy most of the time. They'll retroactively change things. And you're like, that's not right. I have gone back and looked at articles and stuff I've done and verified numbers. And this is really common in politics, obviously. But it's not above, they're not above reproach to do the same kind of thing. So guys, what are we going to do 2 weeks from now? Because we were talking about doing movie night. I'm not sure how to do a movie night. I don't want to watch it through a third party service. So we could just do like more of like a detailed review if you want. We could do that. I was thinking about Tremors in honor of Fred Ward, R.I.P. Fred.
Yeah.
Love that
I'd be
freaking
down with
movie.
that.
Then, of course, it is the 40th anniversary, Wrath of Khan. Possibly one of the most underrated movies to the non-genre people because the normies don't get it. I keep talking about how great this movie is. He said, you don't understand. There's no dead time in this movie. This movie is so brilliantly done.
it's one of those movies I would dare say is perfect.
It really is. It really is. It's like when I watch Ghostbusters, the first one. It's like there's no real dead time. Die Hard. These movies don't have. It's edited perfectly. The pacing's right. Script wise, it's good. Character development. You have you have characters that don't matter that have arcs. I mean, you're doing things right. We're not talking about wasting our freaking screen time with the Miss Mullets of the world. This is freaking great stuff. And of course, Loki can quote half of freaking Wrath of Khan, I'm sure. He tasks me.
He tasks me, and I will have him.
Buried alive.
Buried alive. I have left you as you left me, as you left her.
It's so good. So freaking
marooned on a dead planet.
And you know what I regret? I regret that you're there and not where we can be together to watch it in September. I was so mad that it wasn't in October when I saw that it wasn't going to be.
I know.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm trying for October. I can't pull off this meet thing in June. It's just too soon. I don't.
Well, maybe
and stuff. It's just too much.
Maybe I can convince whatever theater we go to, we're gonna rent out a screen.
Yeah, just do the whole
thing. So I'll see if I can request Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I'll see if there's a theater where I can request that and get it approved. If I can do that, that's what we'll watch.
And everybody should start tweeting at Fathom Events. I'm not going to derail it. We could talk for another 20 minutes, but I know you guys probably want to run and get a break from all being around me. Tweet at Fathom Events. Tell them they need to let people like me do press again. Bring back press passes for people.
Yes.
Because I don't get screening anymore. I was getting screeners, man. I have stories. You think what you went through? I have shown up at what was supposed to be a live streaming event, and it isn't streamed properly. There's no signs. Didn't start on time. I've seen everything. It's freaking insane. These theaters do not care.
You know,
Fathom Events is treated so badly.
I saw there was a 40th anniversary screening of The Thing coming up next month.
So excited. So excited. I don't know how well it's remastered. I didn't look at the details in it. I just showed my wife. I just turned the phone. I goes, I know you won't go, but
it's supposed to be the 4K.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so good.
It's supposed to be The Thing on 4K, all cleaned up. Yeah,
that looks because
it's all practical effects, so they don't have to go back in and they don't have to redo
all the
shit.
Digital stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, just to clean it all up and have it in the theater. Because I didn't get a theater experience of that. I'll be honest. I got a theater experience with Wrath of Khan. My mama was a hardcore Trekkie, so we heard that Spock died. So she was there at the beginning. I got to know what the heck's going on. Of course, they have the little tease in the beginning with the whole, Kobayashi Maru, where I thought you were dead. But yeah, when it came to the end, I was even all crying, and Mama was crying, and it was rough.
Everybody's crying.
It was. Well, I was 11. I was like, it was okay to cry when you're 11 when it came to movies. Still,
Oh, I still cry.
It's still very emotional.
I get choked up. I have been and always shall be your friend, and I'm like, oh my god!
Oh, you know what it is? When he walks into the wall.
Yeah,
it's like, oh crap! I'm too old for this. Why am I? I'm leaking.
Yes.
I'm leaking. The only line from Grinch that I just totally still quote to this day. It's the Grinch movie. I'm leaking. What is wrong with me? Yes, that's how I freaking feel, man. It's like I see that movie. But even, God, man, you even got me because I went and saw this stupid movie, and the music, the booming Trek music when you're seeing the ship with the shuttle. Oh, and you know what I loved? Because it's not in the original version. Because I went back when I was watching them side by side. And I will say the regular director's cut had it too, but on the big screen, when Shatner, when Kirk is coming around and they're taking him to the Enterprise in the shuttle, taking him to the space, but not taking him to the Enterprise, and they come up and they have a close up of his face, and you can see on the reflection the Enterprise. That was not in the original theatrical, and it was moving in the theater. I was like, "Oh, that's so good! Oh my god, that's so good!" Yeah, it makes me want to have good stuff like that again. I miss it so much. Well, we survived Halo. Oh, crap! Yeah, I think we're Halo. Oh, we have more comments. Oh my god, you guys are killing me. I love you guys so much. I have so much. Thank you so much. That's all I can say. We've been on here forever and a minute. These guys have been so gracious with their time. Love you guys so much for doing all this. Go ahead.
It's been so much fun, kind of sit here talking about all this stuff that I told that I've already forgotten about Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You said it best a couple weeks ago. You said it makes everything like it's gray and dark and so it makes everything else that you love so much more special. Yeah. It's making things that I enjoy so much more intense, if you will.
The other benefit of it I found was that I started that I had to go and start finding other new things to enjoy.
Yeah.
And then that led me to like all new avenues of shows I'm watching. Like I'm now watching some of the Super Sentai, the Power Rangers, like the original Japanese like suit footage. I'm watching some of the Kamen Rider, the Ultraman. I've got a big old backlog of stuff I'm looking forward to. I'm starting to go back and watch some of the old like 80s Sword and Sorcerer movies I never saw. I finally saw the Sword and the Sorcerer.
Yes, we broke your cherry. Thankfully, the 4K director's cut will be available to purchase in September. Yes, Chris, I was trying to read that. I didn't search down the presser. Pop right back. Is it the first 5 or 6 movies, or just 1 or 2 at a time? Didn't know.
Chances are they'll probably at least get the first. If they're gonna do the first one, because they're
I think it's the first one, and I think it's
they're gonna have to then do 2, 3, and 4.
I don't know if it's into the
Con's first 4K theatrical release will be in September. So that's the 4K Con release we're getting in September. So if they did the motion picture now, and we're getting Con in September, I would guess that they're going to space out the DVD or the Blu-ray 4K release too.
I hope not. I want both. I want it all.
I'm looking over on Blu-ray, and I'm trying to typing in Star Trek 4K. The first thing that pops up is
Paramount
the
Plus
stuff.
Oh, really?
Is what?
Star Trek Trilogy 4K. Parentheses, the Kelvin timeline. Like, no.
Oh God, please. All right, gentlemen, I will we'll end this nonsense. Thank you guys in chat. Love you all so much. I'm supposed to be somewhere else. I realized it was 7:15. I got to go take a quick break, call Mama Bird, and go somewhere else. Go to the vac tube. I think I'm going to the vac tube. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful night, and I appreciate all your Halo patience. You guys in the chat, you are awesome. Make tomorrow better than today. Love you guys so much for making this even remotely possible and hanging out with us. We watched Halo, so you didn't have to. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Go back and watch all the other episodes, the timeline of us creating nicknames and discussing the insanity that was and is Halo. So you guys have a great night and be blessed.
Take care.
Bye.